Hey all, welcome back to Shartak. In the previous video, we successfully set up our basic server and made it live. In today's video, we are going to connect our server with MongoDB Atlas. Now let's connect our MongoDB with our server. So open your browser. Go to mongodb.com. Login. If you don't have an account already, then create one. You can also sign up via Google or GitHub. Since I already have an account, I will log in here using my email and password. If your account is new, it might ask you some onboarding options like what is your primary goal. I will select build a project I have in mind. In the second one, it's asking how long have you been developing software with MongoDB. I select more than 1 year because there is no option higher than that. The next question is what programming language are you primarily building on MongoDB with? I select JavaScript Node.js here. Next it's asking what type of data will your project use? In this, I select others. The following option is optional. Let's skip it. Now the next question. Will your application include any of the following architectural models? In this, I select serverless and event driven. Now click on finish. Now from the MongoDB dashboard sidebar, click on the cluster option and then we will create our cluster by clicking the create button. On this screen, we have to select our plan. At the very top, 3 plans are showing here. We will choose the free plan, which is commonly used for learning purpose. Scrolling down, we will get the configuration option for our project. We can select the name. I will leave it as the default cluster 0. Below that, we have the cloud selection option. Here we can choose from AWS, Microsoft Azure or Google Cloud. I will keep it as default AWS. After that, we have to choose the cloud region that is closest to us. I will choose Hong Kong and click on create deployment. Oh, it's asking for CAPTCHA verification. I have to select fire hydrants. You might have something else, so follow the instructions. After selecting, we click on verify. Now a new screen is showing that says your cluster is being created. Now that our cluster is created, we first need to create a database user who can access it. So click on database access in the sidebar. An existing user is already showing, but I am creating a new user so that if a beginner is watching, they don't get too confused about how to proceed. So I click on add new database user. Here we have to set the username and its password. For the username, I will keep it Shartak. You can set the username and password according to your choice. Just keep in mind not to use space because we will use this in our connection string. In the description, I will just write SHA tag, and after that we click on add user. So you can see that in the users table, a username SHA tag has been created. Now after this, we have to add the IP address. For that, I will click on network access in the sidebar. Here we have to add the IP address. Let's click on the add IP address button. Here we have to give the IP address of the devices from which we will access the database. Since we are in the developing phase, we will add IP address like this in the access list entry for now, so that we can access it from anywhere. Warning: we are only using 0.0.0.0/0 in place of an IP address for development. Always remember that in production we never do this. It's a security risk. In production, we will restrict it to a specific IP for security. We leave the comment option empty. You can add something if you want. After that, we click on confirm. See, it has been added to our IP address list. Now that our user is created and the IP address is set, we will get our connection string. For that, we go to our main MongoDB dashboard. All our project will be listed here. Right now, I only have one project, so that's what is showing. So we click on our project, which is named project 0. This will take us to the project screen. Here the cluster I made named cluster 0 is showing. Here we click on the connect button. A model will appear with several options. We will click on the drivers option. In this, we will get the options to install some drivers. We don't need to them because we will access it from MongoDB Atlas Live. Just confirm that Node.js version, which is mentioned as 6+. Scroll down from here. Below is the connection string. We have to copy it. Read the instructions on the page carefully. We will copy this string. MongoDB Atlas supports vector search. This is the technology that will help our AI chatbot find smart answers from the database in phase 2. Now the part from here onward is very sensitive. Full attention is needed for this step. This connection string we copied contain our database username and password. We never write this as hard-coded inside our code. We always keep it inside an .env file. This is very important for security, and we never upload this .env file to GitHub or any other version control system. So now let's open our VS Code editor. First we will create a file in our server folder named .env. When we are working on Ubuntu, we always keep file permissions and security in mind. Now we will update it like this. Mongo_db_URI is equal our connection string paste here. We will update the db user and db password part later. First we create another variable. Port is equal 5000. We will also use this in our main file. Now we will replace the db user and password in our connection string. The username and password we created in this project will go here. But before that, we have to confirm, does this user have access to this db? For that, we will click on the edit button for this user and scroll down in the model that opens. In the role option, under built-in role, check if our user has read and write any database access. If it is selected, then it's fine. Otherwise, select it It wasn't selected for me, so I am selecting it. After that, click on update user. So see here in the table, the access for our user has changed in the MongoDB role option. Now let's go back to our VS Code editor and change the DB username and password in our connection string. For the username, we will give sha_tag or whatever name you choose, and change the password similarly. Now we first check if our .env file is mentioned in .gitignore. If not, add it. Always double check this. Here the file does not even exist for me. So let's create it. I will create a file named .gitignore inside the server folder. I have already copied the items to add, so I am pasting them. Here you can see that I have mentioned .env. Now we will bring our project to the MVC standard. We will create a source folder inside our servlet folder, which will be the single source of truth for our backend code. Inside it, we will create config and model folders. And then inside the config folder, we will create our database file named db.js. Now we will update this file. Import Mongoose from Mongoose. Const connect db. Async arrow function. Inside it, we will create a try catch block here. Create connection variable and pass the variable from our .env file. Const conn is equal await mongoose.connect. Here we will add our variable process.env.mongo underscore db underscore URI. Now, if connection is established, we will console log it. Console.log MongoDB connected. Otherwise, inside catch block, if an error occurs, we will console log it and shut down the server. Console.error error. Process.exec 1. Export default connect db. Now we will import it in our index file. But before that, let's fix a mistake I made in the previous video. Otherwise our code won't run. In the last video, I installed the wrong Mongoose package. Look here in our package.json file. We need to install the actual Mongoose package. So open the terminal. Go to the server folder with the cd server command and type npm I mongoose. Now it is installed and we have to remove the previous wrong package from our project. So run this in your terminal. npm uninstall mongoose. Now we go to our index file and import our connection model. Import connect db from /source config db.js. Now import .env. Import .env from .env. First of all, we will configure .env. We can't use it without this. It is good practice to configure .env above all other imports. .env.config. Now update our port variable, const port process.env.port. Or 8000. Above the port variable, call connectdb. Other code will remain as is. Now open the terminal. Go to the server folder and start our server with the command npm run dev. You can see that in the terminal MongoDB corrected is showing. Now that our database connection is established, we will conclude this video. Today we learned how to connect MongoDB Atlas with our Express server. In the next video, we will design our school and user schemas. If you want to be a part of this flagship series, don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.